James had always believed in trust. It was the foundation of his marriage with Sarah, the woman he had loved for nearly a decade. They had built a life together, bought a house, planned for a future, and shared their dreams. But lately, something had changed. Sarah had become distant. She was constantly on her phone, smiling at messages she never cared to share. She worked late more often, claiming last-minute meetings, and you was his wife. She wouldn't betray him. But the doubts kept creeping in, growing louder each day. The final straw came when Sarah announced she was going on a weekend trip with her girlfriends. James asked the usual questions: where, when, who? But her answers were vague, dismissive. His gut told him something was off. Instead of confronting her outright, he decided to set a trap. He told her that he, too, had a business trip that weekend, making sure to pack a suitcase and leave the house early Friday evening. But instead of heading to the airport, he parked his car a few blocks away, turned off his phone, and waited. Hours passed. His heart pounded as he sat in the dark, watching the house he had built with her, the home they had shared. Then, just as doubt began to creep in, a sleek black car pulled into the driveway. A man stepped out. Tall, well-dressed, confident. James felt his blood run cold as he watched the man walk up to his front door and ring the bell. Within seconds, Sarah opened it, greeting him with a smile that used to belong to James alone. And then she kissed him. Not a polite, friendly peck. A kiss filled with intimacy, familiarity, passion. James gripped the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles turned white. A storm of emotions raged inside him: anger, betrayal, heartbreak. But instead of charging in blindly, he took a deep breath. He pulled out his phone, turned on the camera, and hit record. He wasn't going to confront them without proof. Slowly, he got out of the car and walked toward his home, the place where he had once felt safe. Now it was the scene of his worst nightmare. He entered the house quietly, following the soft sounds of laughter and clinking glasses. As he stepped into the living room, he found them sitting on the couch, sharing a bottle of wine, completely at ease in their betrayal. The man had his arm draped over Sarah's shoulder, his fingers idly playing with her hair. James felt a surge of rage, but kept his composure. With deliberate calmness, he reached for the light switch and flipped it on. The reaction was instant. Sarah's face drained of color, her eyes widening in shock. The man beside her tensed, his glass of wine freezing mid-air. For a moment, there was silence, a tense, suffocating pause before the chaos. James held up his phone, the screen still recording. His voice was steady, colder than he had ever heard it before. "Don't stop on my account. Just thought you'd like a keepsake from your girls' trip." Sarah opened her mouth, but no words came out. She looked between James and the man beside her, as if searching for an escape. James could see the guilt, the panic, the realization that she had been caught. The man shifted uncomfortably, clearing his throat. "Look, man, I didn't—" James cut him off with a sharp look. "Save it! I'm not here for an explanation. I've got everything I need." Sarah finally found her voice. "James, please, it's not what it looks like." He let out a bitter laugh. "Oh, really?" "Because it looks exactly like what it is." She stood up, reaching for him, but he stepped back. "Don't. Just don't." His voice was quiet, but it carried a weight that silenced her. Without another word, James turned and walked out. He didn't need to hear her excuses. He didn't need to fight. He had seen enough. By morning, he had sent the video to her family, packed his belongings, and filed for divorce. He didn't waste time on revenge. He didn't need to. The satisfaction of knowing he had walked away, leaving her to face the consequences of her choices, was enough. As he drove away from the house that had once been his home, he felt something unexpected, a sense of relief. The pain was there, of course, but beneath it was something stronger. Freedom. And for the first time in a long time, James knew he would be okay.